Welcome to the Religiously Offensive Podcast.
Yeah, you know how many celebrities, especially girls, seem like fall into that, I need to change myself completely.
Yeah.
Well, they have to like, keep up with
I think I would be a
society's beauty
celebrity.
standards.
Yeah, but
I'd do it.
when Miley went off did her thing, I wouldn't call that beauty standards. It was more of a
Miley Cyrus,
I am-
OG Miley Cyrus was.
I like Miley Cyrus now.
Really?
Like her Plastic Hearts album, is that what it was called recently?
I guess I
Fire.
just mean like her appearance.
Yeah, I don't have an
okay.
opinion
Really
about her. I
physically?
don't have an opinion about her music. but
Never been like overly attracted to her personally.
I think
like-
she's more
like-
attractive now than she ever has been.
I like old
There you
school
go.
T Swift.
T Swift.
Old,
Yeah.
old school.
I don't like.
Nah, this whole
I
pop
won't say I
star
won't-
thing,
don't
I'm not
like,
a big
but
fan. Like,
yeah.
I just don't
care for her music as much as like Love Story and
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
Dear
my
John.
crushes were actresses, not
Tim McGraw.
singers. I would say.
Teardrops.
I know.
Come on,
Teardrops
T.
on my guitar. Wow.
All right, I'm not that specific, but
She wrote
Never Grow Up. I cry every time I listen to
every
it.
time.
He's the
15?
reason for the teardrops on my guitar. That's that one.
Sing it to me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know a lot of her stuff, but
Hey,
I don't need, like, I could recognize some stuff, but I don't know the names of any songs.
did
Like,
she ever get her collection back from Scooter Braun?
No, that's why she did. She just made a new
just
one.
redid it?
It was Taylor's version.
She's kind of goaded.
Scooter, you're
though.
kind of
Dude.
an asshole.
But
She is goaded.
kind of an asshole, yeah.
She's a great songwriter.
It's tough.
Respect.
See, when the money gets
Respect.
involved, then you just gotta, I don't know. See, that's the part of the industry where
So it kind of goes with our theme today. Sorry, totally changing subject.
Look at that
because
segue.
It feels like it was
It
not
wasn't
a segue.
a good segue. Yeah, it was.
I drove the car off the cliff. For sure. Oh, you guys.
you never loved me, Mom.
I think they're talking about TikTok.
That's an SNL skit.
No, so
Pete
okay.
Pete Davidson and Tim, Chalamet?
Chalamet, yeah.
So funny.
Oh, that one. Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, there's all kinds of side conversations that happen all the time. On
I
this.
locked in with you, Jess.
hard
I
to
locked
follow.
Yeah. Gabby's tearing up over there.
in. Yeah, that's so
great.
funny.
So, what kind of TV show? Not TV like Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV Plus, Prime Video, whatever you watch. What kind of shows do you like? What are some of your faves?
I like trashy television.
So does Christina.
What is that?
Okay, not like she doesn't like reality.
Like The Bachelorette.
So she does some reality.
I
She
do
likes
love
that
trash reality TV.
She likes
I
that
love it.
rich Asian show. Like, you know what I'm talking about on Netflix. It's
Heard
just
of
like
it.
it's-
Not the movie,
I think
like
it's
Crazy Rich Asians?
No, it's not that. But I think it's like kind of a
Good
play.
movie.
Not a bad movie,
I
though.
think it's kind of a play on that. You know, where it's like just it's kind of reminded me of like a Real
Singapore,
Housewives.
right?
except
I like
it's just
reality
Asians.
TV though. I love Survivor,
Great show.
Big Brother,
Oh,
or
yeah.
like The Challenge on MTV. Like I love.
Wow.
I love those shows.
Those are great.
See,
It's not my cup of tea.
I would.
I mean,
destroy the challenge.
all right.
That's my dream.
You guys hear
Sydney
that?
and I
Any
would-
scouts
Bring
listening
'em
out
on.
there?
Sydney and I, whenever we talk about like doing something tough, we're like the challenge, $1 million on the line. And then
I had a buddy, they used to work out at Waterford, LA, that ended up on those MTV shows.
Fessy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was he a
really?
basketball player or
Yeah,
football?
He's from around here.
Fessy was
Football.
from around here.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Boys was with my friend.
That's funny.
Looks like I played
That's
basketball
cool.
with him.
Yeah, I met him through a friend.
No, he's a football guy.
and then,
He's
I
been
thought he
on a
played,
lot of those.
played college football.
Yeah, he's a
He's
prominent star in,
Yeah.
in the challenge world.
He's one of the
challenge
veterans. One of the
world.
veterans.
Yeah, we used to go out all the time. That's funny.
He's a tank.
That's wild.
He's a large man.
He's very
Well, he was a
large.
tight end, wasn't he, in college
Yeah.
or something? Big guy. Like 6'4", 6'5".
He tried
Just-
to make the NFL.
I like that
Easy.
show. What I like about that show is that they take people from shows like Big Brother, Survivor. I think they're even doing like people
Love
from Love
Island.
Island and
Yeah.
stuff. But they take people from those shows because it used to just be people from like the real world. Remember that show? They used to only take people from that show, but now they're taking them from like, I mean, even other countries now.
Right.
Because they do Survivor in other countries and stuff too. So they take people from those shows. I mean,
Pretty
everywhere.
sick.
Classic
pretty
Jersey Shore was kind of my.
You gotta be kidding me. Of all the trash TV, you're like Jersey Shore.
Honestly, I can imagine
like
Justin in
OG
his
Jersey
prime.
Shore?
GTL.
Did you guys actually watch the OG Jersey Shores though?
The situation.
Yeah.
Of course
Man,
they did.
that is
The Cabsy here.
yeah, so entertaining.
T-shirt.
That is literally the bottom of the barrel trash, in my opinion.
Doesn't get worse than that.
Sammy.
course.
Oh, wait, Sammy and
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
Their drama.
You loved Ronnie, didn't you, Justin?
I did like Ronnie.
I feel like you were a Vinny guy.
I'm still a Vinny guy. Love Vin.
Will always be a Vinny guy.
And Paulie. You know, Mike even grew on me after time.
Mike just had a baby recently, no?
Yeah, and he did his time in prison, you know,
What?
for not paying his taxes. Pay your taxes,
really?
people.
Seems
Yeah.
par for the course
You
for
can
that show.
go to jail for that.
Yeah. Sure, all those guys end up in prison at one point.
Dude,
In and out.
they must have made so much money that still to this day they're making like Jersey family reunion seasons and shows. Like they're all old.
It's wild. I
Like-
mean, well, they all have their own type of like product now too.
like Benny's out here doing his Chippendale thing in Vegas, which is hilarious. And then I don't really know.
Paulie's like he's like a legit
Paulie's
DJ.
a DJ.
Yeah.
He's kind of wifed up.
I mean, are they like 50?
No, they're probably maybe close to 40 though.
Yeah, Paulie was always older anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah. I mean, that's a pretty solid run though. Think about how long ago that came out. Like first season Jersey Shore had to have been like 15 plus years ago.
You know what
So
shows
just to
I
keep
like?
it rolling.
I don't know. I just choose to forget it.
I'm a big sitcom guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I can get behind that.
respectable.
How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
You really, you're
that was
one
a
of
good one.
How
See,
Met
I
Your
could
Mother,
never get into it.
The Office.
was
Oh,
a
I
good one.
loved How I Met
People
Your
were
Mother.
into
King of
Friends. I wasn't
Queens.
real into Friends. King of Queens is
Friends.
great.
Yeah,
King
those
of Queens
ones.
is great.
Did you do the Seinfeld?
Seinfeld.
I love
bit.
Seinfeld.
Yeah. Those
Seinfeld
shows
was
are
great.
I'm on the fence with Seinfeld. It's
Sydney makes fun of me because I just watch Modern
not
Family
mine.
beginning to end.
Modern Family is so funny.
So funny, dude.
Yeah, there's something. I mean, Seinfeld isn't like on my top list, but there's something you got to respect about like the original. You know,
Yeah.
they were the original of a
paved the
lot
way.
of things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They have Seinfeld on Netflix. It's like one of those shows that you like put on that you want to like fall asleep to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't into Friends. I wasn't really into Full House, even though a lot of people watched it.
I went
watched
hard on
Full
Full
House,
House. Yeah, that was my thing.
Even
wasn't.
Fresh Prince, bro.
Fresh
yeah.
Prince was
For
awesome.
sure.
Fresh Prince
That's
was great.
tough.
Have you guys seen the reboot of
Fresh
that?
Prince.
I haven't.
I haven't either. It
just
looks
wouldn't
too
be the
serious.
same. Yeah.
Looks
What's
real
it called?
serious.
Is it called Bel Air?
I think.
Yeah,
All the
Yeah.
films
It's on.
out
It's
there.
on Peacock. Is it on
I know.
Peacock?
one of those weird
First
ones.
things
yeah.
first. Rest in peace, Uncle Phil.
Yeah,
J. Cole. He
For
gets
real.
It. He gets it.
he's the
You're the
man.
only father that I ever knew.
That would probably be on my.
Uncle Phil was the man.
Honestly, Fresh Prince was
could be a
probably on
better
my
you.
top 3. Honestly, like from my past. It was-
Sitcoms?
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Had
for
to
sure.
be.
Growing up, yeah, 100%. That'd probably be my number one.
That
growing up.
one. What's hard is like The Office is technically like a sitcom, but
Right.
it's more of a documentary.
It's fair. Yeah.
Type. It's a weird category, but that's also in my top 3.
Has to be.
I got
You guys like Parks and Rec at all?
It was
Yeah.
good. It was good.
I didn't watch
I didn't
the
like
whole
it
thing.
as much as Office, but I mean, you know, there's.
I mean, Ron.
Ron, yeah, just
I mean, that's a
Dude.
top 3 character.
he is
Yeah.
he
immortalized.
Is a
He's on the Mount Rushmore of
He should
sitcom
be.
characters.
He should be.
Easily.
I just like
Michael
Aziz
Scott has a
great
Ansari.
face for
He's
Mount
in Rex.
Rushmore.
Yeah, Michael Scott's got to be on that Mount Rushmore. Ron.
Mount Rushmore.
Who would be the last 2?
Dude, that's tough. That's a tough.
I mean, I would put Will Smith from Fresh Prince on there.
You're flying through it without. I mean, what about Doug Heffernan, Phil Dunphy?
Yeah, I'm passed on both of those.
Oh, guy.
The Mount Rushmore?
Yeah,
They are-
it's got to be iconic, and I mean, I love Kevin James, but you know, like in Modern Family
Makes
was more
me
of a.
Please laugh.
But that's the thing. It's kind of like the who blazed the trail. It wasn't Phil Dunphy. He kind of rode
That's
on
fair.
the coattails of a lot of the other sitcoms.
I agree with that.
So if we're gonna
Bill
say,
Dunphy is, I mean, honorable mention.
but that's the thing. That's the thing. So did
yeah.
so did Ron though. I mean, so it's like, but the thing is,
Ron Swanson is
he has
just-
such a unique character.
You got to put Betty
It was
White
just
on there
like-
then, if you're because Golden Girls is a classic sitcom.
Golden Girls is.
I
great.
never watched it.
Golden
I guess
Girls
my
is
own
good.
personal. I would definitely though. I'm down with that.
Yeah, you could do that. maybe you make it.
You know, not super
Mount
popular.
Rushmore. Maybe you
Got to
add,
get a
like,
female on there.
But
Who says you couldn't add some faces? Maybe there's 8 faces.
I'm just
on there.
saying, pre the sketchy things, Bill Cosby,
Oh,
in
Yeah,
a different
for sure.
world.
that's true.
For
You know,
sure.
separate
They
all
would've
the
spray painted
drugging
him at this
women
point
to
if
sleep with them
there was a
thing.
real mouth.
But man had some demons. But
Yeah, they would have chiseled him into
Cosby
something else
Show was
by now.
pretty iconic.
It was.
Yeah.
I watched. A lot
I
of
watched
that.
Family Matters.
Hot take.
Steve Urkel?
Hot take.
Yeah.
Matters. Hot take.
Boy
Family
Meets
Matters.
World.
Oh yeah,
Topanga.
Topanga.
Feeny be on
Topanga.
Mount Rushmore?
Mr. Feeney.
Topanga. Yeah, she was.
I was an Eric guy on that show.
Saved by the
I
Bell
loved
too.
Eric.
I was
Doesn't
Team Eric
surprise
on
me.
that.
Doesn't
You watch
surprise
Saved
me.
by the Bell?
Oh yeah.
That was probably like
Boy
my mom's
Meets
time.
World. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Who was Zach's girlfriend? It was what was her name? I forget her name.
I bet
Oh,
you've
man.
never met
You know what I'm talking
anyone
about
named
though,
Topanga.
right?
Yeah, no, I can see her in my
Only her.
head.
Dude, she was.
I was
Brunette,
so upset when they
bad.
weren't together in real life.
She was great.
Oh my, this is
Yeah.
upsetting.
She's looking it up. Yeah, I mean, there's so many like shows now that I just like it. Just I think it's just because we immortalize the shows that we loved as kids. It just the new ones that come out, they can't even touch
Yeah.
it in our minds.
Kelly Kapowski,
Kelly Kapowski.
What does she look like now?
Kapowski.
baddie.
I think she
sounds like a
still looks
comic
pretty
book.
good. I mean, I think she gained a little weight, but
Born 1974.
Who
Yeah,
does-
so she's about 48, 49.
who doesn't gain a little weight? Am I right?
Is it Lisa Turtle? Is that who it
All
really
right.
is? Yeah. Oh wow.
What? Is she not
Baddie.
great?
I need
Oh,
you
she's
to pull
still
up a
good?
current so that you know who you're talking about currently.
No, I just want her to always look like this. In my mind. Ooh, I would have been great in the 80s.
Lisa Turtle?
What's so funny? You can just look up Kelly Kapowski 2022. No, she's
You
she's.
can literally look that up.
Oh man, this woman is gorgeous.
I mean, yeah, like obviously, like there's signs of age, but
You know, there's something
she's good.
refreshing too about like those girls we grew up on, like because you knew back then. I mean, I don't even know. I'm
Tiffany
guessing.
Thiessen.
Is her real name?
Yeah. Well,
There's Lisa Turtle.
There's a thing that just I have no clue. I have no clue.
You just had to say it
There's
again.
a thing I just saw here. It talked about
I like
Tiffany
turtles.
Thiessen says she almost played Rachel on Friends instead of Jennifer Aniston.
Wow.
Ooh.
Oh, I think I read that somewhere too.
All right.
Dang. Would
All
never.
right.
Oh,
would've
Lisa
never been the
Turtle
same.
was.
It wouldn't have been the same.
She was the black girl.
That's how much
From Saved by
pressure
the
is
Bell.
on
Oh, okay.
casting. You know what I mean? That's everything.
You know what? The
Yeah.
funny thing is, like, I think we always see like, oh, this person was almost this, and we're
Right.
like, ugh. But that's just because we watched 10 seasons of a show that
Right,
it's
right,
like that's all we know, and so we can't imagine it being different. But it probably could have been good with other people.
That's fair.
You know?
I went and I look at those like audition tapes.
Oh yeah, The Office.
The
Did
Office.
you see that one?
Yeah,
I
so
love
good.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, some of those guys that were on there trying to like the Better Call Saul guy was on.
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
doing like was it Michael?
Yeah, I
was
think
he gonna
so.
be Michael?
Did you have you ever seen interviews with Kevin, but the guy in real life?
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, it's just so weird. It like just messes with your mind because you're just like,
He's a normal human.
you're just like, no, Kevin's Kevin. Like Kevin's a little special.
Can you imagine though? Like
He
just
can't be this articulate. Like
I mean, granted, like they all have tons of money from that show, which helps. But can you imagine just living your life and everyone's just like cracking jokes at you? You
Right,
know what I mean? Just
right.
like is the video of like was it the video or it was like the Hodor guy from Game of Thrones? Everyone's just like Hodor.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
was like you guys,
Hodor,
even
yeah.
like villains in movies or villains in shows. Like, do you think
Oh,
they
yeah.
get like they
In
get
real
shit
life?
in real life?
Oh yeah.
But you know what? There's like the cool villains. Like there's
Yeah.
like there's also the actors that could play only villains, and then there's the guys that could like go back and forth.
you know, one of my favorite
true.
villains of this modern kind of cinematic
I'll tell you,
era.
the British villains are the best. Like
Oh,
those guys.
I know
are the
who
best.
my best villain is. Or my
I would
favorite
disagree.
villain.
You would disagree?
I think
Who are your best villains?
what's that buddy from he was the good guy in Django, but he was like a Bond villain. I think he was in Inglourious Bastards, maybe.
Great movie.
Yeah, it's Christoph.
Yeah,
I forget his
guy
last name.
is
He's
a good
fantastic.
villain.
He is good.
I like him, but he's also a good like protagonist. I liked him in Django.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like so,
Very versatile.
So Ralph Fiennes, do you know him?
I need images. That's what I
He's
need.
the guy that was in
Christoph-
He was the guy who was in Kingsman.
Great movie.
Is he the good guy or bad guy?
He's a good guy.
You know how bad I want Kingsman to be real?
Kingsman's pretty
know.
dope.
That's so dope.
Oh, so cool. Yeah.
But he was
I love
so
movies
like
like
him,
that.
right?
Exley?
Yeah.
Or what's his name?
Something like that.
Gus Fringe or Fring. That's my favorite villain
Oh, from
yeah.
The Boys?
From Breaking Bad.
from Breaking Bad.
Oh, he's also the
He always plays that villain.
Breaking
I know,
Bad is
always. He does it
fantastic.
so
like
well.
the quiet
So well,
guy
yeah.
behind the scenes who's really pulling
Yeah,
all the
so
strings.
this is Ralph Fiennes, or I think I don't know if that's how you say
such
it.
a classic.
Like that
That's
guy.
oh, but he's
right?
the good guy.
He is a good guy.
He's Voldemort?
He's Voldemort.
Oh,
Show me.
wow.
Show me.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So it's like pretty iconic. He's
got you.
British.
That's pretty solid.
So
Voldemort's got to be top 5.
yeah.
Of like villains?
He's got to
Best
be.
villains of all time?
I mean, it might need to be top 10.
No, I mean,
What's
no,
top 10?
Voldemort makes top 5, I think.
Yeah.
It's wild.
That is wild. Voldemort is
The
legendary.
hard part, because then you got like Lord of the Rings, like Sauron.
Imagine
You,
being
you don't
married
know
to
who it
him.
is. It's just an eyeball.
I don't even
Sleeping
know
with
who that
Voldemort.
is.
Wow, couldn't do it.
That's the topic of the magazine.
I mean, and then even like Star Wars, like the villain's Darth Vader. Like it's just someone's voice. Or
So Mark
I mean,
Strong. This guy's pretty good
Anakin
too.
was
He's also
kind of
another
a whack.
British villain.
He looks
guy.
like Voldemort without the makeup.
Was that Sidious?
I don't remember.
tough to overcome.
I can't.
What's that
Oh,
hood he's
offhand.
wearing?
I don't know.
He doesn't. No, he does, he's not Senator Palpatine.
No. That was a different thing. I was talking about the guy on the right.
So, what do you think the criteria is to be considered one of the best villains? You got to be a human. Like you can't have like a. You
Yeah,
can't
I
be
guess
animated. Because I don't know if I.
I guess those are separate categories. If you want it, you can go overall. I'm fine with that.
Well, because
Oh, wow.
Thanos is definitely top 10.
Yeah, they did a great job with that.
Thanos is good, and that's another guy. What's his name? Josh
Brolin,
Brolin. He's a great protagonist too.
No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
The Joker? Come on.
Dude, okay, who's the bad guy in that? Because he is, I'm gonna say, top 3 all-time creepy bad guys. He was also
You know
a
what's
Bond
funny?
villain.
Oh, who was it?
He had the
What'd you
jacked
say?
up face. It was the antagonist from No Country for Old Men.
I've never seen
It was
that.
just that creepy old dude who walked around with that air dart gun thing. Just like, psst, psst. I don't know. Dude
was
is
very good.
creepy looking.
That silence.
Just immediate chills. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he was the Bond villain. Yeah.
I forget which Bond,
that
but
guy. Yeah,
oh my
for
god,
sure.
just so his features. It was just and the
I
creepy
think-
haircuts.
Oh, I know. It's the haircuts with the face.
It's just like
'Cause
that's
the
a
haircut
psychopath.
doesn't go with the face, and anytime
So
that happens,
dude,
you're just
he
like,
does weird
what?
things in private.
Oh, Tommy Lee Jones is in that. I love Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones is great.
What one?
He's in that movie you guys were just talking about, No Country,
Country
for
for
Old Men.
Have you seen that?
No, I
Weird
haven't.
Movie. But I mean, it gets super high ratings.
Yeah.
It performs.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it 9 to 3.
when Gabby
Rotten
goes
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, so
No,
I guess
no.
the reason we just kind of went into that and just get our minds on TV shows is because we've got this kind of like, so I don't know the best way to describe it, like the true crime phenomenon, I guess, to where it's its own category,
Ted Bundy.
right? Yeah, it's its own,
Sexy little
like
vixen.
TV show category on all these platforms. And I know we have a lot more categories than we used to, but it's just like, why is it a category? Why are we so obsessed with like,
Fascinated, yeah.
Well,
What-
because there's so much. Like there's so many things that happen around the world and country that there's like endless stories that for people to talk about.
right?
There's
But like,
something
so much
why is it?
content.
Seeing like
Why are
the
we hooked
worst
on
of
it?
the worst of us that are just like how many different iterations of the Ted Bundy thing came out over the last like 4 years.
there is a
There's
lot
like
of
3 or 4
content. There's a
different
lot of
ones.
content there, but like, why are we as humans so like
Fascinated.
hooked on it?
Drawn
Yeah.
to it. It's interesting.
You know, I mean,
Chaos theory.
you look at. Is it just because like I don't know? Some people watch it and just like they just like watch it because they know they can't do it, and there's something about that you're just like,
I
oh,
feel like that's rare.
yeah, I know. But
That's probably rare.
There's some psychopaths out there.
I mean,
for
the
sure.
reason I watch that kind of stuff is just because, I mean, I think it's interesting, and also, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, why do we watch horror movies? Why do we watch?
See, I've never been into, okay, red flag. Anytime, meet a girl and she's like, I like horror movies. No, hard pass. You prefer to be terrified when we could laugh or be just like absolutely stunned by some incredible action and like you choose fear. I'm out.
Yeah.
You choose being chased
There's
by
a
a
difference
chainsaw.
between horror and thriller, though. I hate
give you
horror
that.
movies, but I do enjoy thriller movies.
There is an intersection. So things can be horror and a thriller.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
Saw.
I don't like the gory stuff.
that's the thing. I don't mind the
Saw
gory
is
stuff.
definitely gory.
I don't like
I feel
paranormal
like-
activity.
So the
We
demon
talked
stuff
about
is what
this.
freaks
We
you
talked
out a
about
little
this
bit more.
stuff
Yeah,
before.
that stuff is.
I kind of want
I can't handle it.
I want to go face to face with that demon.
Okay.
But I feel like it's the same thing. Like
Justin
you
comes
see,
into the office next to with a broken jaw and like her face is all weird and he's like going after
walking
Luke.
like upside down,
Yeah.
going up the stairs backwards.
Hey, bro, you
crab
don't,
style.
you don't have to crawl on the ceiling.
The classes.
Come
Just
down.
make sure the lights are
classic
on.
Exorcist move.
The lights are off.
Demon.
I'm out here.
Speaking of, who turned this light on?
Oh, that was me. I'm sorry. I mean, it was before these lights were on, though.
Yeah. All right.
That's on you.
That's on me.
Admonish.
Oh well.
It is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It is crazy, and it's just like my wife's obsessed with. Like she likes. I mean, that's not all she watches, but she'll just watch it or like podcasts. It's like think about people that just for hours in their car listen to nothing except how people get away with murdering people, or like
Yeah, I guess that's not.
Didn't we
really
just have
how most of the things that I watch aren't like this is how this person got away with murdering someone. It was
just
more
a
so
story.
like this is kind of the story of the victims. Like this is the beginning of it. This is kind of how they got into it. And I mean, when I listen to them, I feel like they're more so like just trying to cause awareness of like,
Right.
be more aware of your surroundings. Don't
What's
be
the saying?
embarrassed to like just tell someone to fuck off. Like don't
Right.
like you know what I mean? Like it's like that one saying I told you guys because I listen to Crime Junkie every now and then, and their saying is "Stay weird, stay alive." So I feel like with them, I mean, they do a lot where it's like if you've seen this person, like go on our website, we have pictures of them because like a lot of cases, people are still out there, like they were never found. So for a lot of these, I feel like they're just trying to because they have listeners all over the country. So if someone's fleeing around the country. And they have all these listeners that could possibly look at this person's photo. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, though. And I tried to stop listening to them because I was like, dang, am I like manifesting something bad to happen to me?
You having nightmares and stuff?
It is
No, I
weird.
never had nightmares or
You
anything.
get weird about so I got, and I know this is fictional, but I watched all of Dexter.
Love
I
Dexter.
started the new season. I haven't watched it yet.
I thought it was really good, actually.
All right. Well,
Excited for
don't
you.
say anything
Yeah,
about
don't
it.
say
won't.
anything.
But like there was a point in the old series, like I was like probably I don't know what season I was on, somewhere past midway, and I just had to like stop for a while because I was just like, all right, this is like messing with my head.
Yeah.
This is like just you get that like to where it's I need to watch something happy or
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Because there's a difference between like the crime of passion stuff and then like to me, because I watched all Dexter. I mean, it was good.
But you could
Well,
always
it's
throw
like-
that this isn't real.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's like the
Yeah, but in
element
the
that
back
was
of your head,
creepy
you're always
was-
like cheering for the vigilante,
Right.
which is really what he kind of was. So
True,
you're
true.
just like,
But
This isn't
am I,
crazy
am I
point.
am I thinking this is okay?
Right, right.
I'm just like maybe just like hit him with a tranquilizer and just drop him in the ocean just off the rip. Like we don't need to set up a kill room with like
Yeah.
like plastic walls.
I
and,
know, he was good at- he was
and
good at
just
getting that done
heart through the
fast.
knife of every single human. Like we could just
It's a knife
Yeah.
through the heart.
there's easier ways.
heart through the knife.
You
Yeah,
did say
same
heart
thing.
through the knife.
No, but what's crazy about those
It's hard
shows, though,
still.
have you guys ever heard
trying
of
to make it
people,
work.
Have you guys
Made
heard of
sense in my
people
mind.
remaking those? Like, have you guys heard of like the real life Dexter? Like, he watched all Dexter and then he like
That's
tried to become
awful.
Dexter?
That's
so
what
awful.
That's what you're getting at.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm getting at. To where it's like that. Okay, maybe that kind of stuff happens on the fringe. There's some guy that's
Those
trying
are
to
the
relive
extremes.
one of these shows.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, as we move further away from any kind of moral center, it's like, well,
How does it affect the normal person?
yeah. I mean, like, are we moving in a way where it's like, okay, maybe there's like one or two of those people now, but is there going to be more people in the future? Because that's like what we're all focusing on now.
I
Well,
would
when-
say what's even scarier to think about is the people that aren't like on the extreme, but the ones that don't even notice that it's affecting them. And then over time, gradually, our entire society is different.
you're desensitized.
Exactly.
Because everything's so sensational that we become desensitized to like outrageous things.
Right. We're
To
all
the
of
point
us are
now
desensitized,
where it's like
for
it's
sure.
so jacked up that like we just had this shooting in Uvalde or whatever in Texas, and it's like it's horrific, but it's been a couple weeks and like we're already on to the next news cycle.
Think
like
about
right,
that.
we had Sandy Hook,
Desensitized.
we've had like now it's like that's obviously everyone's gonna say it's tragic, but like pretty much we just all go on with our lives after like a week.
Well, it's a lot of
I mean,
that is
people are
too.
still talking about it.
I mean, it like so with Pulse. I mean,
Like they're demolishing that school.
yeah. Well, they like with Pulse.
Really?
Yeah. They said no teacher or student should have to enter into that building.
It's the only
That's. I mean, I think that's fine. I mean, I don't think you have to, but I guess if that's what they want to do, then
me, though,
I get
that's
it. I
like-
get what their thought is behind it. But like,
I get it.
But like Pulse, when that happened here, it hit hard. Like, I mean, it people felt it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because it was here. Like the further away it is, the less time you kind of really spend thinking about
Yeah,
it. Like
for
the
sure.
Ukraine war, all the videos that came out initially, all the gore and like all the crazy stuff that was happening. Like people were like on board supporting Ukraine, and then now it's just like it's still happening,
Right.
but it's like we've forgotten about it. Like
The distance. The distance.
Does it affect my actual life?
or the people you love?
Yeah.
If it affects any of those, it's a different ballgame.
Well, and that's the hard part too, because then you've got people that become activists because they had a close connection to a
Experience, yeah.
horrific incident, and then their life is like, I need everyone to care as much as I care.
Right.
And the sad thing is, like, I think because social media, technology, cell phones, smartphones, like we're all so connected that before you would maybe read something in a paper, maybe about something that happened on the other side of the country that was terrible, and it's like, oh, it's awful. But now it's just like we're seeing it in real time. Like we're just like
Right.
unfortunately, our demons are kind of coming out and being displayed, maybe for better, for worse. But it's like there is an element of like ignorance is bliss, and like there are all throughout history, there's always been very sick people that have done messed up things.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I used to watch this podcast called History Hyenas, and they would basically just go back and basically every episode was discussing like the most messed up things that happened throughout history. And so like we look at, the world we live in now, and we're just like, oh, all these horrible things that happened, and it's like it's good for context. You're just like, it's not to excuse what's happening, but you're just like, well, this is just the next iteration. There's always jacked up people doing jacked up things. But then I guess to your point, culture and society, like, are we like fueling the fire with young people?
Right.
When it comes, like we talked earlier about just like video games. And I know this is always a popular, like everyone always kind of rips on this, but I mean, why are the most popular video games the ones where you kill people? Like I got like nieces and nephews that if you're not careful, like they have like iPads and you can download little kids games. Dude, there's games that are just like, you're just like chopping people's heads off for like 3-year-olds. And you're just like, this. And what universe?
It's funny
do
because it
children
always
need to do this
started.
thing?
It started in the beginning with video games. It wasn't just like there was Pong, which was just seemingly very innocent, right? So
Classic.
no big deal. I love Pong,
Yeah.
absolutely. The one for PlayStation that came out. They need to come out with like a new, really good like Pong.
I'm in.
It's been since the '90s they've done it, and I just I don't know.
Air hockey, is it not?
That's no
That's the modern.
It's like the real life version of it.
kind of.
Yeah.
You got to play, yeah, but the Pong that you play with PlayStation was nothing like air hockey, though.
Right. It's different.
It was like a
but it's
ball.
the
It was a
side.
ball that
Right,
rolled
right.
around, and you hit it, you smacked it, and
Well, it was you had the Pong was like the two
yeah.
on either
But
side,
like it was
right?
cool because
And
the
it just couldn't
PlayStation
get
one
anywhere.
came out. Is like you could like flick it, you could like do all kinds of stuff. You had these special things that happened depending on the level, like the table would tilt and like do all this stuff.
Right.
So it was pretty cool. We just need someone to come out with another one because it was great. But anyway, it started with that. But then it got like Mario. It's very seemingly innocent, where just like you could hit stuff, you could fall in crevices, and then you would die, and then you'd have another life. It's kind of how it started, right? And then it's just like there's like these innocent games now where people run around and they just like fall off an edge. It's like an elimination game. It's like they're just dead, right? So I think death is like kind of implied in a lot of these even innocent games, right? It's just kind of funny. but you know, it's kind of the same whether you look at that or whether you look at like Call of Duty, where you get a bunch of lives, like you get to start over a bunch, you know, an infinite number of times. So it's just kind of like, except with there, it's like super realism, you know. But like the whole idea I was telling you earlier is like, if you look at like 10 Commandments, right, and you look at like, you know, thou shalt not kill and whatever, right, and then thou shalt not commit adultery, and then Jesus further defines that, saying if what it exactly was.
Yeah, Sermon on the Mount. Was it Matthew 5? He's basically saying, Jesus kind of ups the ante, and he says like, before it was like, you know, you knew the 10 Commandments, like don't commit adultery, but like he's like changing the game. And he's like, now I say like, if you even look at a woman lustfully, like you've already committed adultery in your heart. Where like the Old Testament was, don't commit the act, and like the kind of the new covenant then was like, don't even entertain the thought.
Yeah, so you, like obviously we're not like thinking about killing real people when we play these games, but they're fake people. So you're saying it's okay to just kill fake people?
Well, they're
and it's just a representation of a person, right?
Yeah, I feel like we're totally
that's
disconnected.
Not your thought doing. I mean,
Well, that's the thing,
I
though.
know.
It's like we're disconnected from the awareness of like, okay, am I aware that like this is like I'm choosing violence for entertainment right now? That's fine. But like just, I don't know. It's called metacognition. We're not good at thinking about what we think about. And so we just consume. Like I heard this one guy talking, or no, it was Jay Shetty. And he was basically saying like, you know, we're having this crisis now because we choose entertainment over education, like 99 times out of 100, right? If we have free time, we could use that free time to, and
I hate it.
Whether through YouTube or through so many different things, you could learn about anything you want to learn about. And we just choose, we just choose entertainment. Like there was I remember, I forget who it was, they were talking about how like when smartphones really came out and we had really like solid internet, it's like we all have these devices that sit in our pockets that literally contain the knowledge of the universe as far as we know it. And we choose to use them to look at videos of cats.
Yeah.
Or memes of like stupid
at
shit.
least 5 times a day, I think about, you know what, I could get out Kindle right now and read the number of books that I've read and never finished, or started reading and never finished.
Right.
Instead, I'm just like, all right, I've got a list of TV shows I'm behind on. And it's just like, we make this list of things that like we tell ourselves.
Rewatch Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
That's
We've
tough.
already seen it, but
Legendary.
That's tough.
though.
but that's different.
So
Yeah,
good though.
I feel you.
so good though.
That's different. Though.
that one's different.
Don't touch that.
Yeah.
So
come on.
yeah, but it's just, I have like this. Yeah, I go through that decision every day. But I guess what I was getting at is just kind of like, and you know, it doesn't take that much of a leap to like really imagine. Okay, well, if like, you know, looking at a woman lustfully is committing adultery in your heart, is it like, okay, well, if we're saying that like, you know, because we're killing and not really thinking about actually like killing someone, is it the same to be like, all right, well, if people are into like anime pornography and it's not a real person and they get off to that, is that the same as like pretending in a video game? You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's an extreme comparison, but it's just like we're moving into this direction where it's like, all right, well, in virtual reality, you can literally interrogate people and beat their head against the cement. Like, I mean, where does it become unhealthy?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I personally believe like the power of the mind and conscience. And I was going to say this earlier when you were talking about the horror videos, like when I was like, do you have nightmares about them or whatever, or listening to the true crime stuff, do you get nightmares? I think, and maybe this could be even a whole different podcast we get into just in terms of dreams. I mean, how many times in scripture do we see people like, whether it's Jacob's ladder or like even Solomon when he made his like whole kind of deal with the Lord for wisdom, it was like it says he happened in his sleep. Like there's so many things in scripture that talk about like dreams and how they really matter. And I personally, I'm big on that because it's like if you're ingesting like for example on the true crime stuff, but you're not having nightmares, in my mind, like that's like no problem. Because I think like once you get into your dream state, I mean, that's kind of just like the deeper level of the subconscious of what's in there that you may not be aware of that's coming to the surface during the night when the active mind is kind of quiet. And so you kind of get into the subconscious mind and you start to see what's really in there. Like a lot of people kind of get really weirded out about like, oh, your dreams mean this, your dreams mean that. I don't know. I'm not going to say like if you fly in a dream, it means this, or if you drown in a dream, it means that. But it's like if your dreams are overall like scary, like there's probably some things you need to like confront or figure out. Like why when you get into your subconscious, is it just like negative? Or like even always, like I personally was always either being chased or having to fight in my dreams.
I have some reoccurring dreams too. It's hard to fight and be chased. Like it's hard to run in your dreams.
Right, when you're getting chased and you can't run fast, right?
It makes me want to sleep standing up. I wonder if you slept standing up, you could just run like a baller in your dreams. Because I imagine you're in your bed and you're just like, I can't physically move my legs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You try to punch someone, you're laying on your arms. It's like, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I used to have a recurring dream where I'd be driving a car on a exit ramp that was always over water, and I would take it way too fast, and we would launch off of the thing.
You know how many dreams I have
abyss.
about like there's a bridge and there's just nothing in the middle and I gotta jump it? Like
Interesting.
a lot.
See, I'm
I've
telling
had
you,
that
bro.
recurring dream.
I think
or
there's
like
something
or
there.
the road's flooded. All you see is this part of the road, and like a mile down the road is the other part, and you gotta just drive through the water. Like, and sometimes the vehicle sinks, sometimes it's shallow. I don't know. Like, it's weird, and but it's freaky. And then I have recurring dreams about tornadoes. Like I'm always like looking out the window, and it looks like an Armageddon
You seem to
scene where
dream
it's
a
like
lot.
this is like all these tornadoes are around. I mean, I'm 35. These are dreams I've had recurring over 35 years.
I have zero reoccurring dreams. Like I don't have any of those.
Oh, really?
How often do you dream or remember your
I
dreams?
never dream. Maybe it's all the weed smoking.
Either that or Justin and I got some demons, I guess.
No, yeah, I get weird dreams. When I was young, it used to be pirates. A lot of pirate ships and sword fights.
Do you watch a lot of?
That seems normal.
I
You
loved
watch a lot of
Hook.
Johnny
I was a big Peter Pan Hook guy.
Man.
It was before, and then I did get big on pirates, but it was probably before.
you hear
Let
the
this
theory?
be our official like support of Disney having Johnny Depp back for the Pirates.
Wait,
because the
Yeah,
movie's
he
going to be
is.
trash without
No,
him.
did he decide to come back?
Sparrow.
Because
know.
he was filmed under oath in the court proceedings, saying like he would never work with Disney again.
Well, that doesn't. Okay, I don't know if that's really what oath is meant to cover. I think oath is meant to cover things that are
Perjury.
part of the case.
I mean, he seemed to be done with it.
Yeah.
I know they want him
I
back.
think he was mad about like obviously he was mad about the whole situation. Like, but if you look at like Disney's shoes, if you put yourself in their shoes, they had to do that. Like, I don't think you can have someone like who's like got an abuse case like, open against them and be like, all right, we're going to use this dude. I just think it sends the wrong message. So, but at the same time, that doesn't
that
doesn't close the door
because-
forever. Like what I was saying is like if he was exonerated, and it's just like okay, well let's have him back.
But at least-
right? Like
See that sucks though, because it's just like America was built on the idea of innocent until proven guilty, and then like
Sure.
when we're gonna just screw up this whole man's life because of something that one person
it was,
said.
I don't think the stuff I read about Disney, it was never their intention for it to be permanent, like a permanent like ban. You know what I mean? It was more of a we need to see how this plays out.
Really? Because I always thought it was more of I don't know. I need to do a little more research.
that's
I thought
how-
Disney just cut the ties.
Oh no, I thought that an exec came out. It's just like, oh, we hope he'll come back. You know,
Nah,
kind of thing.
We need to do a little research
because I think that's fair because in that world it's not like okay you could believe in him whatever, but the problem is like to start that ball rolling in motion where you're going to start spending millions of dollars and starting production of a movie and all this stuff, like that's a lot at stake. So it's just like then if the movie tanks because people boycott Johnny Depp, I mean that's a business decision Disney has to make.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
So but yeah, hope he comes back because
Hello,
I will not
puppet.
watch that movie without him in
I
it.
got a job.
Oh,
That's all
hey,
where I'm going.
on that Peter Pan subject, real quick. Do you guys think that what's really happening there is like the children are dying, and like them
In Neverland?
and so like them going to Neverland is them dying, and Captain Hook's trying to keep them away because
I've heard that theory.
Well, now we can open the Stranger Things box too.
But then they bring the kids back though.
I don't know.
So it's hard to buy into
If
that.
that's really
theory.
it, that's super depressing.
I know.
It can't be it.
But I'm telling you, like,
Is that a fan theory or is that a?
it's
if
a
you
fan theory.
rewatch some of these like Disney movies, you notice so many things that obviously you didn't when you were a kid. Like we're going through a Disney from like first, like we started with Snow White the day before yesterday, and we did Pinocchio yesterday.
I
But
love
like
that.
I noticed so many things in Pinocchio that I was like, that was weird. Like
Yeah.
a lot of slapping of the butt. Like there's just a lot of
Yeah.
weird things in there.
And you know what's funny? It's like
I slapped a lot of butts in my
it's
in
a lot
my
of
youth.
a lot of
I don't
parents
know why
and
it was a
stuff
thing,
are
but-
getting like again
Mostly
like
good.
it's just it's parents' job to just explain to kids what culture's going on and stuff. But it's just like people worried about this Buzz Lightyear movie because
Why?
of there's a lesbian kiss in it. And it's the first time it's ever happened, right? So people get all uproar about that. But like,
Just don't let your kid watch it if you're that concerned.
well, right, yeah, or just like I mean, talk like this is something like kids gonna grow up
Well, they're
and
gonna-
see all
yeah.
this stuff. Like, so it's just like talk to them about it. I mean, but then the thing is,
That's it.
Unless you
thing
just
is,
lock
too-
them in your basement and chain them up.
Yeah.
That, and that's the
Always the answer.
over sheltering part 2 here. But it's just,
Yeah.
you know, part of it is like you go back in these old Disney movies. To your point, it's just like okay, what was a good one in Beauty and the Beast? Like Gaston gets all pissed that Belle says no, and he goes to the pub to drink away his sorrows. Right?
Yeah, there's so many.
Like,
weird
what kind of
things.
idea does that give kids? Right? So it's just like people just clearly like because it's nostalgic, they just look past all that.
Right.
You know, they don't say
Little
anything.
Mermaid had some creepy stuff in it too.
I mean, they all do.
Yeah, they all do for sure.
yeah.
You talking about the pastor boner?
Oh, they're doing a new Pinocchio too. Did you guys hear about that?
JJ was locked. He's
Yeah, I'm
like,
just like I know what you're getting at. There's like naked silhouette in the window and like the rescuers. Like
and then
all that.
wasn't
And Little
the
Mermaid?
what's the Aladdin
No,
one?
the rescuers.
The Aladdin one was like when she gets onto the magic carpet or whatever off the balcony to go on the carpet ride with them. Like there's supposedly if you turn it up, it's like you hear this like take off your clothes.
What? Have you done
No
that?
way. Have you looked at?
You saw a video. You haven't actually done it.
Did you?
No,
do
it's
it?
like, but the problem is, it's one of those things where you're just like, I kind of see how like that.
But
kinda
did you do it?
What you did do it? You went
No,
to the original.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Do you think they removed
But
that?
here's the thing. It's like it's that
I know.
audio thing that we did with it was like Green Needle or like have you ever
Yeah,
done those things
right.
where it's like two totally
Yeah,
different
yeah.
words?
Oh, so what's the
and
other version?
depending
of
on
it?
what you're listening for, it sounds like that thing. So it makes you wonder like, okay, if I'm listening for Take Off Your Clothes, I'm going to hear Take Off Your Clothes.
You know what's funny? Someone was stoned watching Aladdin way too loud, and they were like,
did you just tell her to take off her clothes?
"No way."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
What was the actual line though?
I don't remember. No, because you
there
can't
wasn't a
really
line.
hear it.
Probably
It's-
It was just a sound effect.
No,
like probably something.
wasn't
that-
meant
Break
to
off
be-
and go.
Yeah.
No, well, it wasn't meant to be an actual. Like it's really
Don't stub your
subtle.
toe.
Like it's not like it's clearly not an actual. Yeah. It's like, and then Lion King supposedly there's like sex written in the sky in the clouds after the Mufasa scene or something like that. I don't know. There's a whole.
I refuse to believe
there's a
that.
whole thing.
But you
where
know
it's
what?
like, bunch of creep old
There's
dudes that are
also,
sneaking these little
like-
innuendos into kids
Yeah,
movies.
but you know what? At the time, they probably weren't old. They were probably in their 30s, and they were illustrators.
I just love a good
I bet
conspiracy
there
theory.
has to be like some illustrators that are just like, I'm gonna slip this
Sneaking
in there.
stuff in there,
My
yeah.
Easter egg.
Can I tell you what's exhausting sometimes? Thinking about this. You're watching a kid's movie. All of a sudden, there's hidden meanings and extremes and yes, no, yes. It's like, how do you even freaking breathe without?
I mean, you can't. It's
You
just
just can't.
It's
they're
just the world we live in
brainwashing
now.
the
It's
youths
not.
of America.
Oh man.
Everyone disagrees or agrees with everything. It's like, all right, let's just take it one step at a time, people.
Well, let's just live life. It's just like, and if you have questions, talk to someone about it. But it's like
Yeah.
you don't have to be like spreading like conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
That's where it gets dangerous.
Right.
Because then you create this artificial perception that half the people believe something, half people don't.
Right.
When it's really, it's just like maybe 10% of
Right.
people are like crazy.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's nuts. It's nuts for sure. So what's the? I don't know. Have you ever been into true crime or any of that?
Yeah, I used to listen to Crime Junkie. I mean, every time they released a new episode. I don't anymore, but I
Yeah?
used to. Yeah, because when I used to deliver pizza, that would be like my thing.
Oh, okay.
Listen to an episode
Nice.
during my shift.
I never
seen
think
some of
about
the
it, but
stuff.
delivering pizza would be like the perfect job to get like through your audiobooks and all the like
Yeah.
different like podcasts
Yeah,
that
I'm
you want to
big on
listen to and
podcasts
all
then,
that stuff.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Luke,
But I liked him.
yeah.
Yeah, I've dabbled.
You've
I've dabbled in the industry.
dabbled in the TC.
But I mean, I think another factor of like why it's so interesting is because you like for me, it's like, okay, how did this person get this way?
Yeah.
Like the upbringing story, I'm like, okay,
You're like, how can I avoid this happening to me?
Psychology, yeah.
Like, I'm
the
like-
conditioning.
Okay, there's obviously tragic errors.
Yeah.
Like what
She
were
went to the
they?
bar
And
by
let's-
herself and stayed by herself. What was she asking for?
Right, yeah.
She wanted to die that night.
Right.
What's the
Or the parents of the, there's, I don't know, but I would imagine that the stories of a really nice family raising this perfect, the
Yeah,
stories
like, how
of
did
that
they get
person
there?
become,
You know?
like there's always some crazy underlying.
Well, it's the same reason we like when a cop pulls somebody over, we like turn our heads a little bit, or like if there's an accident, we
Right.
like slow down a little bit.
I hate when cops are behind me. I hate it all the time.
We just have, the
never
bottom line
okay.
is we just got some
We're curious.
darkness
You're just
in
like,
us.
I'm gonna go to McDonald's right now just so I can get out from behind, or from in front of this cop.
He turns into McDonald's.
Just an immediate.
Yeah, he turns into McDonald's too. It's like crap.
You're
heart.
taking the next turn no matter what.
It's like drive through the McDonald's to the gas station. See if he follows me.
I would be wholly in favor of just putting cameras and traffic cam lights everywhere, and then cops kind of just hang out and more respond to issues instead of just always out. Because I don't know. It just puts you like, I'm not at ease. Like,
Well, no, it's
like cops, I feel like we're meant to help people feel safer, and they don't make me feel safe. When I see a cop, I'm just like, I just feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, and you're not like doing anything sketchy.
you are.
Yeah, no, and that's part of it. Part of it is I think more cops should be available to respond, right? But now it's just like because they need like a full-time job, it's like they're not always able to like responding to stuff, so they drive around. But then the crazy thing is, if they're sitting there writing someone a ticket, and there's someone that actually needs a cop, that's you know what I mean.
They'd probably leave.
I don't know. I've never been in that situation.
Well, that's what I'm
I would
saying. You're
imagine
going to
they're
get
not
way
gonna
more
stand there.
traffic tickets just because you're going to like.
But I'm just saying it affects their ability to respond because they're doing all this ancillary stuff. You know.
Sure.
To have it, that's what I'm saying. It's just like an actual unit of people that are responding to like violent type crimes versus
Well, I'm
like.
sure they have certain parts of the department that do that, and then certain
Well, there's like
parts of the
SWAT
department-
teams and there's other things, but it's like, I just personally, yeah, it's like,
I don't know.
You tired of getting pulled over?
We're
bro?
not.
I don't even get
don't know
pulled
if-
over,
yeah.
but I
Follow
just,
the rules, Justin.
I do. That's the thing is I drive super slow. Like I never get pulled over, like except for that one time in my driveway. It was a bad night.
Yeah, except in your driveway.
Yeah, it happens.
Never get pulled over except in your driveway.
It happens. It had to happen.
So yeah, no, and that's not. We're not trying to solve that today, but yeah. So I guess I get your point. What you're saying, like it makes people more aware. It helps people solve these crimes that are open still. Like the reboot of Unsolved Mysteries, I thought was great. Like my parents used to watch that show all the time in the 90s. But yeah, didn't they solve one of the murders on that too?
I don't know, but I think
thought they did.
I think with a lot of these, like at least with Crime Junkie, that they have helped solve a lot of like cold cases.
Yeah.
They've helped solve a lot of things, and especially now with like the DNA testing we have, like from back in the day to now, like with podcasting and DNA testing. I feel like it's hard to get away with murder.
Say something.
Yeah, no. So maybe that's why everyone watches it because they want to help solve the crimes.
That's not why I watch it.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I was just saying. Here's something real interesting though that goes along with all of this. Have you ever heard of people like Charles Manson or was it Ted Bundy, who basically they would just get stacks of letters from people like romanticizing.
Oh yeah, there's people like
people
that
would
out
write
there.
love letters
Well, who's
to
that
these
guy
killers.
that was it Arizona or Texas or something like that murdered his wife and 2 daughters, like at his job site, and they made a show or a Netflix documentary about him, but yeah, like females will write him letters in prison and
send them nude pics and all that crazy stuff.
Who was
Yeah.
that one guy who got like a modeling career like because his like he had some like violent crime that was like pretty messed up, but
I
he
don't
was
think
like,
he was like a murderer though.
I need to look it up.
I know
I
you're
forget
talking
what
about.
he did.
Oprah got him out.
But he had, I mean, beautiful man. Like,
Yeah,
dude was just like,
piercing eyes.
good God, like
Yeah.
beautiful. And he literally went viral and blew up because of his mugshot.
Oh, I saw that. I think
That
now
was a
he's
long
like a
time
super
ago.
successful
He was just like a
model.
This guy,
drug
right?
Yeah, what was his
Yeah.
crime?
I think it was drug dealer.
Former member of the Crips street gang.
There you go.
He was arrested
Gang life?
during a gang sweep called
was his name?
Operation Ceasefire.
What was his name?
Jeremy Ray Meeks.
And his mugshot basically just went viral.
Well, it
and then
blew up.
by the time
I'm
he
pretty
got
sure
out
Oprah's the one that got him out.
Yeah,
She was
he
like, "Get
gets
this
out.
man out."
Oh, he is pretty.
he gets
He is
out of
pretty.
prison and now he's just
Now
got
he's
a
modeling.
blossoming career because he got arrested.
Yeah, I mean,
So maybe more people just need to get arrested.
yeah, as long as he didn't like
Okay.
commit murder, I'm down for that. That's a cool story. Yeah. So, but it's just funny how people romanticize, and it's like here on Reddit, people like were just asking why do people romanticize killers. This one guy says, I think for the same reasons we enjoy violence in movies, TV shows, etc. It allows people to experience a world they otherwise never would have been a part of. I believe because people are so far removed from these killers allows them a freedom to enjoy observing them. Maybe a shitty comparison, but I find watching predators at a zoo more thrilling than most other animals.
Well, it is interesting because you do want to like, because maybe I'm different, but it's just like you want to be like, how could someone ever want to do this to another human being?
Right.
So you kind of like want to try and get into the mind of that person, like what caused you to get this way?
Right.
Because that's like not a normal thought to
Right.
to think. So it's like, what happened to get this guy there? And you also like want to know what they look like. Like, is this somebody that like I could be like friends with? Like this, like it's like the Ted Bundy. Like he's a normal, like good looking guy.
Zac Efron?
Yeah.
No.
Don't get JJ going on Zac Efron.
I know.
Is he a killer?
He plays Ted Bundy in that movie.
Makes sense.
Here he goes. He also plays Troy Bolton. So I'm pretty sure he's all right.
It's a joke. Just a joke.
Maybe only a couple of skeletons.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I mean, people romanticize people see that. People see that like the romanticization of like these people, and it's just like almost creates a more of a pull to do things like that almost. And I mean,
you
not
think
that
it's like
you
a
kill for the nookie.
Tame
but,
the Beast. It's like women want to.
yeah.
Because
I feel like those women that are writing those letters should be like flagged somewhere in the system. Like something ain't right.
They're like, I don't know. Are they like women that like just like are hitchhiking on the side of the road, just like, oh, someone just pull me over.
I don't know.
Something ain't right,
Get
bro.
those ladies in
Someone
the
pull over
CIA
right now,
and
give me
get them
that.
trained
Yeah.
to like get go undercover like in weird places and infiltrate. But they'd probably jump ship. They'd probably be double agents. So maybe that's not a good idea.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is nuts. I mean, what's the weirdest one you've heard of that you could think of? Like true crime, like weirdest situation, weirdest killer.
That's tough.
Yeah. But you've heard a lot of it. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, well, there's so many.
There's one about a guy that was he was doing it on Ohio State campus, and I think it was Netflix. They did a documentary on him, but he would just like snag up some
This
ladies.
guy. That's the guy that killed his family. I was talking about Chris Watts.
I wonder what
That's a
just
sad
makes
story.
someone snap like that.
Well, he was, and I think she was pregnant too with another one, but he was like having an affair, and he wanted to go off and live life with that other woman. So he
And that was the
made
best
the
thing.
rest of his family go.
I was
yeah.
like, well, it's easier if they're not here.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like women who are into it rough, like that kind of person who they think would be like taking them to the edge of death kind of thing?
I don't know. Who knows what goes through some
I mean, there's
family.
probably a good chance that
Like
women that are
that like a brute
down for killers probably
are the same women that
wanna
seem to like be
experience-
content in a like almost like
talking about
there's
an
some
abusive relationship or like
some women like seem to like be content like, and it's just like, oh no, but I love him. Like, there's some women that are scared, right? Obviously want out, and they try to like send secret messages to people to like help them to get out of those kind of relationships. Then there's just some women that just seem like, you know, if they were to get pulled apart from that other person for abuse, they'd be like, no, like I love him, you know, and just whatever. It's just like, it's so weird.
Well, let's talk about how most serial killers are men.
Oh,
That we know
Also-
of.
that we know of. Women are just better at getting away with it.
Also, another thing I
Women just
saw
sneaky.
yesterday, no school shooters have been women also.
Yeah.
And this debate that I was listening to yesterday, they said, if we had a school shooting that was done by a woman, do you think women would lose rights to have firearms like automatically?
No.
No. I think that's
Gabby's
a pretty aggressive thought. I don't think that's the
Well, it's the
case.
same. It's the same thing, dude. There was a lady on the View, that one like ABC show, like a couple weeks ago, like after this whole like the kids shooting Uvalde, and like she just made this comment that was so outrageous. She was like, "Just wait till the black people start getting guns, and then it'll become illegal." You're like, "What?"
They already, I mean,
It's like they
have guns.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
It's just like
It's not like they can't get guns. What are you talking
I'm
about?
just like, and what are you trying to say right now, lady?
Well,
like, do you not
you're-
realize
yeah.
that?
That's reaching for it. Yep.
Yeah, no, she was pandering for sure. But I mean,
Just this initial reaction.
I mean,
to
a
make
lot of
everything
that
about race.
A lot of that has to do with psychology. I think, like men and women, just the differences. Men are more aggressive. It just goes to highlight the different. There are differences between men and women. For
Well, you
all
could
the
also-
people that try to like pretend there aren't differences.
Because you could also
Psychologically.
look at probably like you could say, I bet more women or young girls struggle with eating disorders than young men.
For sure.
Maybe. So I think there's just there's a lot of natural tendencies and generalities. So that's a weird thing.
Because it's a lot of.
So women want to fit society's beauty standards and men want to murder people.
Sometimes.
Okay. Well,
And that's the pod.
I don't know about. I don't like those categories, but so there was that whole thing. I think there was that Rogan talked about. I think one of his friends or whatever was going transgender, so she was taking hormones to become a man. So she was just like saying that, or it wasn't that. Maybe it was because there's all kinds of like different stuff on that show. But is basically, or was it his friend who was a girl who tried male hormones for like a couple days or so, or a week or something like that. I don't know what it
I
was.
know what you're saying. She
I
was
don't know
like
what
horny,
it was.
like
But
crazy
like
horny.
she was like crazy horny, and she like testosterone. Like she was
Right.
crazy horny.
Wasn't Blair
she
White?
was super aggressive, like super aggressive. Like it was just like
she went the other way.
like just wanted to fight. You know what I mean? Like just kind of thing, right? And it's just like she didn't expect that. It gave her a new perception of how males work.
Because her testosterone levels like started to elevate, and she was like, I just want to bang everything.
Yeah, and she wanted to fight. Like she was like aggressive.
Very confrontational.
So I think a lot of women just don't have that perspective. Like, and it's just like, yeah, guys are kind of naturally born like killers. Like,
more
you know,
Yeah, we just
it's
need
just
to
like we weren't
wipe them off.
We just weren't designed. Excuse me. Are you talking about all men?
Yes.
All right. So starting next
Yeah,
week,
so
this is
much
going to
for
be an
brothers,
all-female cast. Gabby's taking over.
Gabby just slowly kills all
I'll
of
just
us.
bring all
Yeah.
your significant others in and we'll
There you
we'll
go.
reboot it.
Reboot. So yeah, no, but it's crazy because like I mean, men like you can get aggressive. I mean, and it's just natural. It's just like whether it's with people you don't agree with, like your kids, like anything like that just kind of frustrates you. You start to get that buildup of just like intensity. And some people like have more testosterone than others, or it affects them differently. But it's kind of like, because you imagine, I mean, that's probably just a natural thing within us. Because I mean, we used to hunt animals, and stuff like that, and we had to like have that as a defense mechanism, as survival.
We had to be violent to eat and to protect our
So we
our
get
loved ones.
we get in this world where there are still some parts of the world where that's necessary, but we get into the parts of the world now where it's just like a lot of places, and not everywhere, but a lot of places people live now. It's almost like you don't even need that mechanism because your life is so safe.
But the challenge to that is then, and Jordan Peterson's been on this pretty hard for a while. It's, would you rather be a warrior in a garden or a gardener in a war? Right. So it's like, and then you go back to the scriptures where it says like the meek will inherit the earth. As far as I was taught, that word meek means like those who are like have the ability but choose to like sheathe their swords. So it's like the whole point is like, because this clip went viral on Rogan with Jordan Peterson. He's like, you need to be a monster, but you need to learn how to tame that beast. Because like life may present you with situations where you need a monster to protect yourself or to protect your loved ones. But it's your job to also control that so that you don't cause unnecessary harm.
Sure.
But there are extremes though. So if you encourage everyone to be a monster, they're going to be the people that can't shut it off. And so those people just end up in prison.
Well,
You're not encouraging being a monster. You're encouraging self-control.
yeah, the whole point is there's a monster within all of us that we need to we just can't pretend like it's not there.
Yeah.
But it's like the most important thing is to acknowledge it, but most importantly, control it so that if you were to ever, because I mean, yeah, like you said, unfortunately, we live in worlds where like it's probably a recent phenomena where we are very safe, and the average person with modern technology and medicine, the average person is going to live to 70 plus, no problem. But, you know, those numbers drop off so fast once you start to go back 50, 100 years. So it's like, you know, I feel like throughout history, people just had a different relationship with death because they just saw it more often. They saw young people die more often. Where like for us now, it's like it's tragic and it's super rare if a young person dies.
Yeah.
But because of that, like there's this insane fear of death because we've created such a safe and comfortable world.
Goes back to the desensitized.
Like even like my younger brother has like just had some like health problems, you know, and a lot of heart issues and heart attacks. And like I remember when he had his last stint, he was in the hospital, and a lot of people are reaching out and they're trying to like give him like comfort him and, you know, send him scriptures about things. And I remember having a conversation with him, and it was just like, it's hard to really, and this is what he was saying. It's like almost hard to relate because I've been to war. He was a Marine. He went to Afghanistan. Like he was in combat zones. Like he's just like, I've been in ICUs where I wasn't supposed to make it, things like that. Like he was just like, I just have a different relationship with death. Like I don't really fear it because I've been like knocking on, like on the precipice of it multiple times. And it's just, you know, most of us live very safe lives where rarely we would even have that experience. So it's like, but that was probably a very common experience for most humans, you know, hundreds of years ago. So it's almost like there's these things within us that have evolved throughout, you know, thousands of years as humans to just, it's like having that monster within for the sake of protection, but now we just don't need it.
I think that
Or
goes
rarely
hand in
need it.
hand with.
So we like watching other people's monsters.
So there's something where, yeah, maybe you'd like to see it manifest.
Or it's like, is it a comforting thing that there's so much of this that people are interested in, or the content that's out there because it's just proving how safe our world is now, or I guess our country or whoever, you know, parts of our, I don't know. There are people that are living in horrible situations throughout the world. So I'm not going to say that about the whole world, but it's just the fact that we can just sit here and because if it was something we dealt with every day, like mass genocide or like people coming in trying to like take our kids or kill our families and stuff, that's not something we'd find entertaining. That would be traumatic. But
Who finds it entertaining?
Well, we love watching the movie Taken, but if we were living in the reality of like people are coming to traffic our daughters,
yeah, we wouldn't be watching that stuff. So and it's just like the fact that we can watch violence and watch all these things and not be traumatized by it is really a testament to how safe our lives are, kind of thing. What were you going to say, Luke?
It's also fiction, though. If we were watching a live
No.
video of someone being taken,
What I'm saying is like, so say like you're living in a village in Africa where like frequently you'll have just like the I don't know,
like rebel forces will just roll in.
People like come in and just shoot up the whole town, and like that happens frequently. And
Right.
You have to keep rebuilding, and then you bring them like movies about that happening. Like, do you think they would find that entertaining, or do you think they would find that traumatic and not something they'd want to watch?
That's a good point.
I think it goes hand in hand with like comfort. What you're saying, like our lives have, like it's just safe and comfortable, and so because of that, we're desensitized to, like we're interested in I've heard it put that safety and comfort can be a big idol because you are afraid to take risks and you're afraid to like step out in faith and do things. Not
For
that
sure.
you need to go and like have a near death experience, but like if you're just living a life in your bubble, that can be an idol for you and you're not necessarily living
Right.
on purpose or on mission. How can you, if you're living on mission, then you can't be comfortable, right? Classic line. I think it's Craig Rochelle when he was like, growth and comfort don't coexist. Like it's one or the other. And so,
So then at that point, though, how do you reconcile that with the idea of contentment that we learn about in the Bible too, where it's like you need to be content. You can't just keep striving, for whatever these goals are you think you have. It's just like at one point it's never going to be enough, and you need to settle and be content.
The challenge is comfort is a direct relationship to like external circumstances and realities. So comfort is I have money, I have nice things, I have a nice home, I have safety.
I think that's
like
the
comfort
problem
is
with
directly
comfort.
tied to external realities. And then when Paul talks about like I've learned to be content with a lot or with nothing, his contentment is tied to an internal reality.
right.
And our comfort is tied to external realities. So I think we've just gone down this road for so long in this country that even though we were birthed out of like a Judeo-Christian type of framework, that we have become so attached to comfort and external realities that like it's like square peg round hole at this point. Like we
But the
can't
challenge
even
is
understand.
it will always be that because there's two forces in you that are like your comfort really does matter on the external things, but you're trying really hard to not let it. So, and that's the fight you have to fight.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a deeper level of awareness where you can really psychoanalyze all of your actions and thoughts, and you can say, is this a selfish thing because I want to be comfortable,
Right.
or is this coming from a selfless place because I want to help people,
Right,
or I want to
right.
make an impact,
That's good,
in the
yeah.
world. So, I mean, we all have that opportunity to go in and really become familiar with our actions and our thoughts. But to the conditioning aspect, I think we've just gone so far in this direction as a society and culture that it's very hard because the church is a perfect example. It's like based on the blueprint and the actual like teachings of scripture, we are meant to just let go of any sort of material pursuit or possessions or anything like that. But we all have them and we all really like them. So it's like even the church that's supposed to be commissioned to like not care about comfort or material things. Like we have them all. We want them all.
I would also say you can be content and uncomfortable.
Yeah,
the same
no,
time.
for sure.
Agree-
And yeah,
for sure.
contentment is separate from comfort. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
So I don't think, they don't contradict each other. It's more of like a, like crap.
But I think
I guess
Am
what
I
you were.
doing
I guess
this?
what I took from what you were saying was striving. Like, how much should we be striving when we're really called to be content in any situation? So, what Justin kind of squared that off when he said, if you're striving for selflessness, that's different. If you're striving for selfishness, that is where you lack contentment,
Sure.
kind of thing.
Yeah. But it's interesting because striving, I would.
Well, because here's an interesting, maybe think about it this way: is comfort is, it's our way of replacing dependency on God with our own work
ourselves.
and with our own things and insurance and all that stuff. Where a contentment is really just a dependency on God that, regardless of what things I have, and so, I was thinking about this earlier. It's like, it's really sad that we read the scriptures and we read all these stories and it's like they are defined and marked and really like set apart from a lot of other things because of the miraculous and because of the supernatural. And it was like, to me, it's like every time we choose comfort, we choose dependency on our own works and abilities versus God's.
Yeah.
And so the more and more we choose those things, it's like, then, to me, I look at our world and it's like, it's not shocking that we don't really see miracles.
You get
like
dependent on
outlined.
comfort, and then you get less like in tune to
Yeah.
who God really is.
Well, that's why. Okay, so even think about this. I was thinking about this the other day. Remember when we did the podcast on money and it talked about like it's harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven than a camel to pass through the eye of a needle.
Right.
I don't think it's talking about to get to heaven, like at the end of your life. I think what it's talking about is the way Jesus introduced the kingdom of heaven to be here now, to be expressed through your life.
Sure.
Right? In the sense of miracles and the supernatural. And I think why he's saying is it's harder for a rich man to access the kingdom of heaven because you are 100% dependent on your money, your works, everything that you've been able to do to provide a very safe and secure life for yourself.
Yeah, but that's why people go to church, so that they can justify their materialism. It's like, I go to church, so.
But that's why I think
there's going to be lots of people that go to church.
A lot of times people read that verse and they think like, oh, it's hard for rich people to make it to heaven. Like it's no. It's hard for rich people to experience heaven on earth because they have made it so that they don't need to be dependent on God.
Right.
Because of their own success and wealth.
Profound. I like that heaven on earth twist. I mean, God, obviously I knew that, like that Jesus said that, but is to be constantly reminded that we are to experience heaven on earth and not just something that we're looking forward to.
It's tough when you read the verses when Jesus
that's a good
says,
reminder.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus says like you're going to do greater things, and these are the signs that will follow those who believe. Like it's like the Christian life, according to Scripture, was meant to be marked and kind of set apart by miracles.
It's not like a finish line here. I mean, it is like here's your reward, but it's also like in the meantime. You can experience that.
Well, that's why after he was baptized, he turns to people and says, repent for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Like repent doesn't mean like go to confessional and talk about all the things you did wrong.
Right.
Repentance is I turn away from this and I turn towards this.
Right.
So all he's saying is like turn away from your own abilities and comfort and turn towards contentment or a life dependent on the Lord and experience the kingdom of heaven in your life.
Justin's preaching today, baby.
Wow. I didn't know that's how we were going to end
He be
it, but
spitting them bars,
that's
bro.
good.
That's
That's good.
Yeet, skirt.
That's it.
That's it, though. That's good.
I'm loving the like. Do they call it faux hawk or? I mean, what's
Boy,
This is what it does.
good.
okay?
I got.
Did this
I'm not
happen
gonna lie.
recently?
I had
Shaving the sides a little bit.
Yeah, I had a few beers at the house, and I was like,
When was this?
we're gonna touch it up. Not yesterday, but the day before.
Okay, I was about to say.
All right.
Bring it back. I rocked the faux hawk real hard in high school, but like all the
love
way
that.
back, like I'm not continuing it, but yeah.
That's sweet.
I can just see Justin
look
and his
great.
faux hawk DJ Pauly D vibes.
Playing disc golf every day.
Jersey Shore.
Gym tan laundry, baby. Gym
We're gonna
tan
hit
laundry.
the golf course in the morning, then the disc golf course in the afternoon.
Then we're going to gym, tan, and
Every
laundry.
day. Yeah, I'm gonna replace gym with. I don't like laundry
Gym
though.
G for golf.
Yeah,
Golf,
I do like being tan. Don't do laundry though.
tan.
Don't do laundry.
That's like a every other week kind of a thing.
Every other week.
You have enough clothes to do it every other week.
Well,
If I really need to,
buy
I can stretch it to 3 to 4
buy enough
weeks.
clothes so
My
that you can make that
gosh.
possible.
He just wears the same clothes twice. He doesn't tell anyone.
And then laundry day is like a massive undertaking,
the amount of
I'm
times we've
sure.
been disc golfing, I do laundry like every 2 or 3 days.
It's been sweaty the last few days.
I just got my Fabletics 2 for $24. Pretty pumped. I just have to set a reminder. Actually,
Cancel the subscription.
Siri,
Christina literally
Hey, Siri.
just signed up under a new email so
remind
she
me
can
to
order
cancel
stuff.
my
That's what I'll do.
Fabletics
Are they doing that
subscription on the
70%
1st of
off right now?
July.
They have to be because Christina did something.
Yeah, I'll have to do that too if they are.
Anyway, y'all, summarize. Life's good. Appreciate it. And I think that's
80% off.
yeah, that's it.
Shout out.
80% off.
Yo, I
Fabletics.
got
Don't
So,
pursue
I got-
comfort, pursue contentment.
Let's go.
That's it.
And 5-inch inseams.
Okay.
Oh, he's talking
5
about
5 inches, baby.
He's talking about let's go about the shorts.
don't know
I thought,
where
5-inch inseams. Let's
It's
go.
about the
I
shorts.
thought it was
yeah.
about what Luke said.
Just pretend it. I'll just
I
cut
was
it
fired
off.
up. Then I was like,
7
oh,
inches is for pansies.
Oh yeah.
Cut it off right after the let's go. Let's go. End of the podcast.
Yeah.
Just like he was talking about contentment. All right. See y'all.
2 for
Love you.
24,
Peace out.
baby.
Peace out.
What the one?